Hi guys, I'm Jay and welcome to the Lee Sin Season 7 Jungle Guide. Moving swiftly on to the leveling order, what you want to be doing is taking Q first, then you take W, and then you take E third for your level 3. So if you are going to invade as well, I would suggest taking E second, although it doesn't really matter too much since sometimes having a ward to follow someone after they flash can also be useful, but generally more damage is also really nice. And also the reason that you are actually maxing W next, you do have the choice to max E if you really want, especially if you're snowballing and going full AD, but for general purposes I would just recommend maxing W since it's far safer. As for the masteries on Lee Sin, this is just going to be the standard 12-18-0. You're going to be wanting to take Thunderlord's Decree, since you'll see this pretty much all the time on Lee Sin. It's mostly just because early game you want to be making plays, doing stuff, and the Thunderlord's Decree just gives you that little bit of extra damage for 1v1s or just generally in ganks as well. Also because Lee Sin can actually land 3 abilities really fast, so he can also very easily proc Thunderlord's Decree. The runes on Lee Sin that you're going to be wanting to run are pretty much just a standard page for jungle, so that is the attack speed quints, the AD reds and the armor yellows. You can also, as I said previously in the VAR guide, you can actually mix and match, so you can have like 4 armor or 5 armor seals and then HP scaling as the rest, but if you just want to go for a very cheap general page, you can go for the 9 armor seals. The blues is probably where you'll see the most variation. I would highly recommend though going for some flat CDR or even scaling if you really want, and then just a little bit of MR just to help you out a tiny bit. As for the items on Lee Sin, the first thing that you want to be doing is starting the machete and refillable potion. You don't go for the talisman because it just really offers you nothing as Lee Sin, and the machete obviously gives you the on-hit extra damage as well as the lifesteal on your attacks to the jungle monsters, and as Lee Sin you're obviously auto-attacking quite a lot. So the first item build that you were seeing on screen is the pretty much general purpose Lee Sin build, what you're going to be wanting to go for. So this is pretty much general purpose, as I said. It's just sort of tanky-ish, but you still can do damage, and if you do get onto someone you can actually kill them as well. The alternative to this one is obviously the full AD build, which I wouldn't recommend for most people. I'll only really do this if you are really heavily snowballing or you feel very confident that you're actually a very good Lee Sin, because if you're not mechanically good with this build you will just get instantly one-shot, and you really need to know how to play the assassin playstyle for Lee quite effectively, or else it just won't work. And as well, don't forget that this build is not 100% set in stone. If they are full AD, you're going to be wanting to go for like Tabbies, Omen, Deadmans, and the order obviously depends on how the game is playing out. If they have a real fed mid laner, you might want to go for more first in the more standard build, whereas if their ADC is getting really fed and you're somewhat behind, you might want to go for Deadmans instead of going for like Black Cleaver or something like that. Typically for most games as Lee Sin, the jungle clay that you're going to want to take is really the buff camp buff clay, so you're going to be level 3 and then you're going to have the double buffs to either maybe gank or even invade the enemy jungler. A thing to watch out for on Lee Sin is really against junglers that, for example, like Hecarim, who you know are going to get very low early on when they're clearing, and also you know generally what their pathing is going to be. So, for example, Hecarim is really always going to want to full clear, so he'll start blue, go to Gromp, and then he's going to go to Wolves, and he's just going to full clear his jungle because he wants to scale up. So with Lee Sin, you can go from your red to Wolves to blue, and then try and meet him at his red where he's going to be very low, and he can't really do anything to fight you. But this is also something that you can actually do on Lee Sin as well, so it's pretty much where you full clear but you don't actually do Krugs, because as you probably know, Krugs do take a long time to actually do. Although do remember that for this clear to really work, you only really want to be doing this when you don't actually see any other opportunity really, so it's sort of a last resort, I guess you could say, because you do want to be quite proactive on Lee Sin and abuse your early mobility that you have over quite a lot of junglers. And I think that just about wraps it up for this guide, guys, so if it did help you in any way, don't forget to leave a like on the video, that'll be much appreciated. And remember as well, if you do want to be playing at Lee Sin just like Rush and Peanut, what you want to be doing is hopping into the practice tool whenever you can to actually practice your wall jumps, your flash kicks, or your super flashy moves on Lee Sin so you can get them down and then pull them off in actual games. The practice tool is available, so you might as well use it.